Growing up with narcissistic parents doesn't just shape your childhood. It quietly programs your entire personality. It is a form of deep-seated psychological conditioning that alters how your brain processes safety, love, and self-worth. The strangest part is that most people don't even notice these patterns until they are decades into adulthood, wondering why they feel a constant, heavy friction in their daily lives. These traits aren't just personality quirks. They are the scars of a mind that had to adapt to survive. Here are the 3 unusual, deep-rooted traits that almost every child of narcissistic parents carries into adulthood. Trait 1. Hypervigilance to emotional cues. Children of narcissistic parents grow up as emotional detectives. They spend their formative years constantly scanning for microscopic shifts in tone, mood, or facial expression. This isn't out of curiosity. It is a survival response to unpredictable caregiving. In a narcissistic household, a parent's sudden shift in mood can lead to immediate blame, verbal punishment, or a cold, terrifying withdrawal of love. Psychology describes this as hypervigilance, a state of sensory overload where the nervous system is always on high alert. For example, a child might memorize the exact sound of their parents' footsteps or the specific way the front door closes to determine if it is safe to speak that day. As adults, this manifests as a chronic inability to relax in social settings. You find yourself overthinking a friend's slightly shorter text, analyzing the silence of a partner, or assuming someone is angry with you just because their tone changed by a fraction. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop, even when you are in a room full of people who love you. Trait 2. The chronic inability to accept praise. If you were raised by a narcissistic parent, compliments often feel like a trap. You struggle to feel genuinely worthy because, in your house, praise was rare, conditional, or, most dangerously, used as a tool for manipulation. You learned early on that approval was a moving target that could be taken away at any moment. Psychology links this to chronic self-doubt and a fractured self-image. A classic example is the straight-A student who brings home a report card only to be told, "Why didn't you get a 100 on that one test?" Or, "Don't get too arrogant. You just got lucky." Today, this translates into brushing off compliments as just being nice or feeling a deep sense of discomfort when someone admires your work. You might even suspect that kindness has a hidden motive, that if someone says something nice, they must want something from you. Your brain has been wired to believe that you are only as valuable as your last achievement, and even then, your value is debatable. Trait 3. An intense need for control in relationships. Growing up in a narcissistic environment means living in a state of emotional chaos. There were no consistent rules, only the shifting whims of the parent. To a child, this unpredictability is terrifying. To cope, many children develop a rigid need for control to manufacture a sense of safety. Psychology describes this as a protective mechanism. If you can control the environment, the schedule, and the reactions of others, you can prevent the explosion you grew up fearing. For example, a child might have spent hours cleaning the house perfectly just to ensure their parent wouldn't have an outburst upon returning home. In adulthood, this turns into an obsession with routine or a desperate need for constant reassurance. You might feel a surge of intense anxiety when a plan changes last minute or when a partner doesn't communicate their exact location. It isn't that you are controlling in a malicious way. It's that your brain believes that unpredictability equals danger. Even in a healthy, stable relationship, your inner child is still trying to manage the chaos that no longer exists. The final psychological truth here is what psychology wants you to know. These traits do not mean you are broken. They mean you survived. Your hypervigilance was your shield. Your need for control was your sanctuary. Your doubt was your way of staying humble in a world that punished confidence. To heal, you must start small. Healing is the process of teaching your nervous system that the war is over. Practice no. Try saying no to one small thing a week to reclaim your boundaries. The 5-second pause. Before you apologize for something that isn't your fault, pause for 5 seconds. Self-prioritization. Once a day, ask yourself, what do I need? Before asking what everyone else needs. You are not responsible for the emotional world you were raised in, but you are the architect of the one you build now. You are no longer that child in the hallway listening to footsteps. You are safe.